Yo, it's Mac from the Everyday Nobody's podcast. I know you see the title, so let's get straight to it. So right now, we're going to pick up where we left off. Kendrick Lamar, he dropped that Control verse, and it would change hip-hop as we know it. We'll get into the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and basically how their beef's been going on for a decade because of this verse. Now, let me make this very clear. I'm not a rapper, and I'm not about to rap to y'all. I may read some of these lyrics in cadence, but I am not about to be out here trying to spit this shit as if I wrote it. Also, understand, I would be playing the music, but the way these copyright rules work for YouTube, that shit is just not going to happen. You're not about to get me struck down, and I just started this year. Fuck all that. So without further ado, I bring you The Rise of the Big Three Part 2. Hope you enjoy. Big Mike, this for you. Happy birthday, bro. So Big Sean drops Control. It features Kendrick Lamar and Jay Electronica. Kendrick Lamar would spit one of the craziest verses that hip-hop had seen in a while. The fact that it's Kumbaya, my lord, between everybody, and he said, fuck all that. I want competition. Let's beef. I'm calling out everybody. Who want it? Who want smoke with us?
You want some? Beat him down, beat you down. Who else wants some? Who else wants some of Debo? Well,
Rick, get up!
The verse was so crazy that people completely forgot about Big Sean verse, and that shit was actually hard. It's even worse because I don't know one human being who has actually heard Jay Electronica's verse. They usually turn that shit off once Kendrick's done spazzing on everybody. I'm just being honest. That very verse would even knock Big Sean down in the rankings and cause their beef. Don't get me wrong, Charlamagne definitely instigated that beef, but we'll get to that later because I'm going to do a whole nother video on how Kendrick Lamar ruined Big Sean's career. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Kendrick was saying in his verse, I heard the barbershops be in great debates all the time about who's the best MC, Kendrick, Jigga, or Nas. Eminem, Andre 3000, the rest of y'all, new niggas, just new niggas, don't get involved. I'm usually homeboys with the same niggas I'm rhyming with, but this is hip hop and you niggas should know what time it is. And that goes for Jermaine Cole, Big Crit, Wale, Pusha T, Meek Mills, A$AP Rocky, Drake, Big Sean, Jay Electron, Tyler McMillan. I got love for y'all, but I'm trying to murder you niggas, trying to make sure your core fans never heard of you niggas. They don't want to hear not one more noun or verb from you niggas. What is competition? I'm trying to raise the bar high. Who want to jump and get it? That shit had the world going crazy. A lot of people saw the shit for what it was and just said, hey, this is competition. Let's get to it. The shit was so crazy that if you wasn't mentioned, a lot of them got mad and started making verses.
Who knows?
That's a good one, though. That's funny.
Man, I feel like it is funny. I feel like people taking it way too serious, too. People turning up. Especially people who ain't even get named. You know what I'm saying?
People going at you, too.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah,
man?
Papoose threw balls at you.
Who?
And then there was Drake, being the sensitive Nancy that he is. Instead of just jumping in the booth and spazzing out, Drake went on interviews and cried about it.
Going down right now, man. Control the record. People still banging it, man. Where is Drake at with Control?
I'm probably like as done as like the rest of the world is with that record. Like I think it came and it went, you know what I mean? And not to discredit it, like it was a good moment, but at the end of the day, it's just like, it was like one of those sort of like fleeting like Twitter frenzies that like, it was cool for what it was, you know, and I'm just into making like, my thing is like, I like lasting power, you know, that's my thing. I want you to still be listening to this album in the summer or, you know, next year. I want this to stay in your car, stay on your mind. It's like not even about the music, you know what I mean? It wasn't even about like the content of it. It just seemed to be about like, you know, all the and all the talking at the time, and now everybody's like over it. Nobody plays it. It's just like whatever.
But I think that's because it wasn't a single, and it did what it was meant to. It had people listening to lyrics and excited about hip hop.
And you and Kendrick are good as far as like the albums and doing records with each other. Did that kind of, when you heard your name, did you feel like, man, like that was kind of disrespectful? Or did you feel like, you know, our names were just kind of thrown in there and it was?
I feel like he made a decision, you know what I'm saying? And it was a decision to make. You know, he was like, man, I'm either going to go for this moment because I know it's going to be a big moment, or I'm going to like take heed to the fact that I have real relationships and I'm going to like not do that. Cause like, you know, I'll be real, like I've thought of doing that before. You know, I thought like, man, it would be crazy if I just went off on everybody, but it's just kind of like, where does it really get me? Then what? Then every time I rap, people are going to expect me to be confrontational, and when I'm not, then it's not entertaining. You know what I mean? It's like, it kind of puts you in a box a bit. So
I don't think that put Kendrick in a box.
I don't know if I necessarily respect it. You know, we all make decisions. I'm sure he'll be good. He's talented as you know what I'm saying? He's going to have another album and another opportunity to take the world by storm. So he'll be all right, you know what I'm saying? Even if it doesn't feature, you know, any of the names that he mentioned, which it probably won't, to be honest with you. I don't know who's going to go back from that and be like, yeah, let's link up and nah, you know what I'm saying? But he'll be all right, you know.
He basically said it was tasteless, it was corny, and I don't think anybody's gonna want to work with him after that. And that would piss off a lot of people in hip hop because they're just like, why don't you just rap back? Like, why are you doing this passive aggressive pussy shit? To the purists, they look at it like this: the essence of hip hop is battling. Like, a lot of your greatest, they had to go head to head with somebody. So why is Drake, being the biggest artist of that time, kind of stigmatizing this shit, making it seem like if you want to have competition, it's because you can't sell records, or if you want to have competition, it's because you want attention? That shit would turn a lot of purists off because you just look sensitive now. Now, I can understand Drake being a little befuddled by it because he did give Kendrick a big look on Bury Alive, and he also did take him on tour that year. So I see where he's coming from. Like, why would you bite the hand that feeds you? But a lot of people are looking at it, well, if you feel that way, why don't you just rap back?
He didn't get on the radio and, oh my God, who's going to work with Kendrick now? Who's going to work with Kendrick after he alienated everybody like that? Who's listening to Control now? Like, yo, Drake, stop whining, man. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Drake would make those passive aggressive comments on a few interviews. One would be the Billboard magazine, which is a print, so I'm not about to read all that shit. I'll leave it on the screen so you can actually see it. And then he'd also get with Elliott Wilson and give a little more sass.
You know, he's the new guy to love, and of course, I mean, rightfully so. He's super talented, you know. But thank you. But he's but he's like, you know, he is the underdog that's extremely hungry. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing his thing really well. And that verse was, he's giving people like moments. You know, like that verse was a moment to talk about. Are you listening to it now? At this point in time? Okay. And then it was real cool for like, you know, a couple weeks. But like, if I asked you, for example, like, how does that verse start? No, do you remember?
But when all the talk was done, Drake would drop a track called The Language on the Nothing Was the Same album. Drake would say, I don't know why they've been lying, but your shit is not that inspiring. Bank account statements look like I'm ready for early retirement. Fucking that's talking that shit just to get a reaction. Fuck going platinum. I look at my wrist and it's already platinum. I am the kid with the motor mouth. I am the one you should worry about. I don't know who you're referring to. Who is this you heard about? Someone just talking that bullshit, man. Someone just gave you the runaround. He's down playing the money, but that's when you're doing your money down. So basically, Drake is making it clear that shit that you doing is not that inspiring to me, and you overhyped. He's basically taking shots at the perception of Kendrick Lamar being the woke king or the conscious rapper. Then when he says fucking that's talking that shit just to get a reaction, he's speaking to Kendrick directly because he feels like Kendrick was basically clout chasing by calling his name. Then he makes a slight threat saying, I'm the kid with the motor mouth, basically saying, don't talk that shit because I give it up. Then he takes one more shot when he says, down playing the money, but that's what you doing your money down. Kendrick is known to be about the art of music, so he doesn't really focus on making money, whereas Drake, his whole thing is financial gain. Then the hook wraps everything up by saying, jealousy in the air tonight, I can tell. I will never understand that, but oh well. So now everybody's excited because they're like, damn, we didn't think Drake was going to take that leap. After all those interviews, he seemed like a weenie, so it was cool to see him actually jump out the window. But that would be short-lived. About 2 weeks later, Kendrick will be in the BET Cypher and he'll come at Drake again.
Yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajama clothes. Ha ha, joke's on you, high five. I'm bulletproof, your shots will never penetrate. Pin a tail on a donkey, boy, you been a fake. I got my thumb on hip hop and my foot in the back of your ass. Aftermath, get the last laugh.
We all know the album Drake dropped was called Nothing Was the Same, and Drake is a sensitive rapper. Even without saying names, the shot is pretty direct.
There's a, you know, and then Kendrick, even though Kendrick hasn't said who it's about, and, you know, I interviewed Schoolboy Q recently, and Schoolboy Q said that he doesn't know whether Drake was talking about, Schoolboy Q said that he doesn't know if Kendrick was talking about Drake, but, you know, in the lyrics, the BET Cypher, he said, nothing's been the same since they dropped Control.
Made a sensitive ass rapper get back in his pajama clothes. What?
Shit never penetrates, pin the tail on the donkey, boy, you've been a fake.
Well, are we really trying to decipher who he was talking about? Drake's album is called Nothing Was the Same. He's a sensitive ass rapper, and he probably wears pajamas. I would say onesies. So what is the problem? I'm pretty sure Drake wears pajamas with the footsies on. So I don't see the issue. Like we know who Kendrick was talking about.
respect. So after that, Drake would do a Vibe interview. And once again, it's a print, so I'm not reading that shit. I'll leave it up there for y'all to read. But long story short, Drake says the language is really just a vibe. It's not so much about him. I'm just talking shit. But I don't got to prove nothing to Kendrick. And I don't even want to speak on it because every time I speak on it, it gasses him up. It makes him more famous. And I don't got to prove nothing because Michael Jordan don't got to play pickup basketball to prove he's the GOAT. So after that, Kendrick would be in an interview with Big Boy. He was asked, what is his standing with J. Cole and Drake? Kendrick kept it pretty simple. Hey, I respect them. I love their art. They're good at their craft, but it's competition with me. It's nothing personal. It's just competition.
In there, you know what I'm saying? Where are you at with a lot of the cats now, like the J. Coles of the world or the Drakes of the world? Where are you guys at now?
Same place. It's all love from the moment I did the verse to after the verse. You know what I mean? I think hip hop is a sport, so you're gonna have these little spits and spats, and it's all good because personally I respect these dudes as as people. You know what I mean? So outside of that, it's really nothing.
Specifically, where are you at, like with the J. Cole? Specifically, where are you at with a Drake or so on and so forth?
I respect their music.
Like that.
For sure. I respect them as individuals and creators.
But then Kendrick would jump out the window again. He did a song with J-Rock called Pray For Me. And y'all remember that line, I am the kid with the motor mouth, I am the one you should worry about. Well, it appears Kendrick will remember that line too. He took that motor mouth line and he flipped it on that Pray For Me record. Kendrick said, been dissecting your motor mouth till I break down the engine. So then Drake would come back on If You're Reading This Is Too Late, the song used to, and he would say, they gonna say your name on these airwaves. They gonna hit you up right after like it's only rap. So basically Drake is speaking to Kendrick in his conversation at the VMAs, where Kendrick said, hey, it's competition, bro. It's not that deep. But then Kendrick would come back on To Pimp a Butterfly, King Kunta. Kendrick said this, I could dig rapping, but a rapper with a ghostwriter, what the fuck happened? I swore I wouldn't tell, but most of y'all sharing bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell. And this was the worst time for Kendrick to say this because Drake had just finished defeating Meek Mill in their little beef where Drake was exposed for having a ghostwriter, which was Quentin Miller. The last thing he needs is Kendrick to pour more gas on the flame, and that album won 5 Grammys.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So a lot of people heard that shit. This very moment would be a double-edged sword for Drake. On one hand, he was battle tested. He went against the tough guy, the street battle rapper Meek Mill, and he fried his ass. But on the other hand, it looks crazy because it's like, damn, anytime somebody wants to talk shit about Drake, they'll just say, well, you don't write all your own music, so you can never be #1 in hip hop.
That's amazing. You are so talented. Huh? Wait a second. Something's not right here. You were just making it look like you were playing. You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Now, over the years, there will be more of this kind of subliminal shit going on between them. Some of it is a little loose for interpretation. That's why I'm not going to add it. Like I've seen some people say that there were certain points where they're still taking shots, but it wasn't direct enough for me to say, oh, this is a shot at someone, or if it's just rappers talking shit, because that's part of it. But to put it lightly, this was like a 10-year feud that was just going back and forth, and then Kendrick just fell off the face of the earth. Then Kendrick would come back after 5 years and drop Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Now, this album, it's gotten mixed reviews. A lot of Kendrick fans say that, hey, this is some of the hardest shit to ever come out. A lot of people weren't on his side as much. It seemed like the album kind of came and went. It still sold a bunch of records, like it had a crazy first week sale, and I heard the tour was fucking phenomenal, but I feel like as a consensus, it wasn't his greatest work. So it was a little strange that one of his old verses would end up leaking. It was a verse from Damn on the song called Element, where Kendrick would air out everybody. Anybody he had a problem with, he was taking shots at him. A lot of people thought the timing was very interesting. All of a sudden, a verse comes out where you're just airing shit out. It almost looks like you're trying to cover up for the fact that that album wasn't received the greatest. Kendrick would say in the song, Drake and Meek Mill beef must got you gassed up, but I'm a whole different beast. I really fuck you up. Then the hook says, I wish nigga would. So once again, the shit is back on. And that would lead us up to present day. Future and Metro Boomin would drop a whole album dissing Drake, and they brought all of Drake's enemies to come and put a verse on it too. Kendrick Lamar would drop Like That and set the world ablaze once again. It was very, very reminiscent to that Control verse. Kendrick would pick the game up again and dump it on his head. I am going to get into the Like That lyrics later, but before I can even do that, we got to go back and find out, well, if it's a big 3, where the hell is J. Cole? And that'll be part 3. But if you're still here, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate y'all for coming out. Tell me who you think is winning the battle, Kendrick or Drake. I'm out.